Welcome to this explainer. Look, if your application is acting unpredictable, or maybe you've been tasked with auditing code and you kind of don't know exactly where to start looking for those hidden vulnerabilities, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're taking a really focused look at the foundational concepts of robust code review. We're going to figure out exactly how to spot weaknesses in your code base and, even more importantly, how to actually fortify them against failure.
Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for today. First, we'll hit Week 2, the core mission. Then, Day 8, error handling focus. After that, we'll dive into the silent threat, swallowed errors, catching the missing try/catch, bad messages, and missing validation. And finally, we'll wrap up with a practice Node.js API review.
All right, so starting things off with Section 1, Week 2, the core mission. Reliability, performance, and security. These three pillars are literally the ultimate mission for Week 2 of our program. You know, every single thing we review today, every concept we break down, it absolutely must serve these three goals. Think of them like the three legs of a stool, right? If your code is super fast but totally unreliable, well, the stool falls over. If it's highly secure but painfully slow, yep, it falls over again. Our main job during a code review is to make sure the app we're building or auditing holds strong on all three of these foundational fronts.
Moving on to Section 2, Day 8, Error Handling Focus.
So when we talk about error handling, it's honestly incredibly easy to get lost in all the abstract programming theory. But to be actually effective, we have to use a highly focused, super actionable checklist of 4 specific antagonists that are probably lurking in your code base right now. We're talking about missing try/catch blocks, swallowed errors, incorrect error messages, and missing validation. During your reviews, you aren't just passively reading syntax. No way. You're actively hunting for these exact targets. If you can master identifying these 4 specific things, your code quality is absolutely going to skyrocket.
Next up, Section 3, the silent threat, swallowed errors.
So a swallowed error, this happens when your system catches an issue but then completely hides or ignores it, basically degrading performance and masking deep security flaws. It technically catches the problem but then does absolutely nothing with it. Doesn't log it, doesn't alert anyone, just hides the failure and keeps moving. This is incredibly dangerous. It directly sabotages our mission, because, you simply cannot fix a problem that the code pretends doesn't even exist. Imagine a security breach happening, but the error handling just silently ignores the failure. It leaves the whole system fully compromised while everything looks completely fine on the surface. It's a massive risk.
Now, let's compare an unhandled crash to a swallowed error. It's a really stark contrast. An unhandled crash is loud, it's obvious, and it immediately stops the application. And yeah, sure, it's annoying, but it forces you to fix the problem right then and there. But a swallowed error, that is a silent, invisible failure. The application just keeps limping along, basically rotting your reliability from the inside out. It creates these unpredictable behaviors that are incredibly difficult to track down later. When you're in there reviewing code, you must be exceptionally vigilant against developers, whether intentionally or accidentally, silencing their errors.
Which brings us to Section 4, Catching the Missing Try/Catch.
Okay, missing try/catch. This is essentially the absence of a fundamental coding safety net, leaving the application entirely exposed to unpredictable breakdowns. A try/catch block is exactly what it sounds like, right? Your code tries to execute a command, and if it fails, it catches the resulting error before it blows up the whole system. Without this, you're totally sacrificing reliability. You're basically walking a tightrope with absolutely no net underneath you. Like, if a database goes down or a network request times out, a missing try/catch means your entire app could just instantly crash. Spotting where these are missing is a crucial step in your review process.
All right, let's hit Section 5, bad messages and missing validation.
Let's talk about incorrect error messages. This is when you provide the wrong directions when an issue occurs, creating massive confusion for both users and developers. Because when an error does finally surface, the message attached to it actually needs to be accurate. Think about it. If a user enters an invalid password, but the error message says database timeout, the user gets frustrated and the developer gets a completely misleading bug report. If performance is our goal, these bad messages completely cripple our speed by sending developers on a wild goose chase for a problem that doesn't actually exist.
And then we have missing validation. This is simply failing to verify data before it enters the application logic. Are you checking if that email address actually looks like an email? Are you making sure a numerical field doesn't have some malicious text hidden inside it? Missing validation is literally like leaving your front door completely unlocked. It directly compromises the security pillar of our mission. If you don't validate what's coming into your system, you are just inviting chaos, crashes, and potentially severe security exploits straight into your core logic.
Finally, Section 6. Practice Node.js API Review.
You know, theory is great and all, but application is what truly matters here. So, the application? Review a Node.js API. This is our specific practice environment where we're going to take everything we just learned and put it to the ultimate test. This is the exact moment where you transition from just passively learning about vulnerabilities to actively hunting them down in a real-world back-end environment.
So let's break down the workflow into 3 steps. Step 1, open the Node.js API codebase. Step 2, hunt for missing try-catch and missing validation. Systematically look for those missing safety nets that leave routes vulnerable, and really scrutinize that input data. And step 3, expose swallowed errors and fix incorrect messages. Dig deep, find those silent failures, and rewrite the bad messages so they actually guide a developer toward a fix. This workflow right here, it guarantees that every single review you do directly supports system stability.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to take a hard look at your own work. Think about the code you wrote yesterday, or maybe the API you're about to review tomorrow. Really ask yourself, is your Node.js API hiding swallowed errors? Are you walking a tightrope without that try/catch safety net? Take these 4 targets, apply them to your daily practice, and watch the reliability, performance, and security of your apps completely transform. So, what are you going to find in your next code review?